The digital asset investor. This morning, I could not think of anything that inspired me to speak to you guys today. Usually, the way it happens every day is something captures my attention, some kind of article or something. And it didn't hit me initially this morning until I saw one tweet from a guy, and I wanted to show it to you. It's this tweet right here from a guy at XRP_Raven. And he linked an article. And in here he said, while I'm not a big fan of the author, I do think this article has some very, very valid points and should be required read for anybody in crypto who is concerned over the current state of the market. This guy, so I clicked on the article because I don't dismiss articles out of hand for what people say the writer is or isn't. I like to look at the people at face value and study what's behind it and all. And so I went and I read this article, and when I read it, it immediately reminded me of what I've been telling you all, and it's the same thing. The theme that I told you in yesterday's video about Henry Ford and how people that are big players, they make moves that you and I may not even think of, but for centuries, this is how the wealthy have behaved in order to keep themselves wealthy and gain more wealth. Is they know how to manipulate the markets. They know how to manipulate things using various methods. And so I don't usually do this, but this article is so good that I'm going to read the article to you, and you'll be able to go read it for yourself later on. I suggest you read it 2 or 3 times because this article, in my opinion, is one of the best written articles about what is going on in 2018, better than anything. But first, I wanted to tell you who wrote it. It's a group, and they're called the Palm Beach Group. It's an investment newsletter, and so I went just to make sure that it was a trusted source. I went and pulled up their Bloomberg report and who their founders are, and then I went and looked at a little bit about their founders. One of their founders was a bond trader at Salomon Brothers and Citigroup. This is their other founder. He's a PhD, and I went through all of these. They've got CPAs, chartered financial analysts on their staff. These are not jacklegs. These are like smart people, and I just wanted to make sure of that before I went through this article with you. But as I read the article, you'll see that the things that this guy is talking about are the same things I've been talking about, but he gives some new examples. The guy, I want to give credit where credit's due. It says that the article's by Nick Roque, I think, or Rock, but then I think he just does the beginning part of the article. The article's actually by Tika Tiwari, who's the editor at Palm Beach Confidential. And so the article is called The Great Crypto Conspiracy of 2018. And every single word of this is what I've been harping on to everybody, but they give some great examples, and they give you another example of what was done in the past in a similar situation to the crypto gold rush, for a lack of a better term. Okay, it's called The Great Crypto Conspiracy of 2018. And it's got Nick's note here. Bitcoin critics such as George Soros, JP Morgan, and Goldman Sachs have called Bitcoin a fraud, a bubble, and a Ponzi scheme. Yet they've begun investing millions in cryptocurrencies. In today's essay, world-renowned crypto expert Tika Tiwari reveals the real reasons they've talked down cryptos. And it starts, if you're offended by sex, violence, and salty language, then you should skip this article. Deadwood was an acclaimed Western series that ran on HBO from 2004 to 2006. The series was set in the town of Deadwood, South Dakota, during the Black Hills Gold Rush of the late 1870s. As you can imagine, the show was full of shootouts, filthy language, and quite a few sex scenes. Certainly not a show you'd want to watch with your kids. But there is an episode of Deadwood that holds a valuable lesson for crypto investors. During the Dakota Gold Rush, regular folks who got in early made fortunes. These weren't mining magnates or industrialists. Much like today's crypto investors, they were savvy speculators pouncing on an opportunity. What happened to all those early stage prospectors? In the fictionalized Deadwood version, wealthy miner George Hearst, father of publishing magnate William Randolph Hearst, swindled them out of their mining shares. This wasn't too far from the truth. According to rumors at the time, Hearst used murder, intimidation, and misinformation to force people to sell their claims. He even purchased newspapers in the town to influence public opinion. Crypto investors will recognize the strategy Hearst used. In a bid to buy in cheap, Hearst's agents started to float rumors that the government would seize all land in the town. Prospectors believed the rumors and sold their mining stakes for pennies to Hearst's agents. The conspiracy worked. Hearst and his partners bought the biggest mine in the region, Homestake, for a bargain basement price of $70,000, $1.7 million in today's dollars. Homestake would become the richest gold mine in U.S. history. From 1879 to 2002, the mine produced 44 million ounces of gold and 9 million ounces of silver. At today's prices, that's a combined $56.5 billion in precious metals. I'm seeing a similar heist play out in today's crypto markets. Who's behind the conspiracy? Every day, we hear in the press how the Securities Exchange Commission is cracking down on cryptocurrencies. We hear that the Commodity Futures Trading Commission is starting a new investigation. We hear J.P. Morgan's CEO say he'll fire any of his employees buying cryptos. Then we find out his traders in London are buying with both hands. We hear central banks float stories designed to scare and ward off crypto investors. In February 2018, the Polish central bank even admitted it hired a firm to spread a smear campaign against cryptos. And do you remember IMF head Christine Lagarde saying central banks need to band together against cryptos? Friends, the great crypto conspiracy of 2018 is upon us. All year long, we've been under assault by rumors of central bank collusion against cryptos, threats of bans, endless investigations, and a ceaseless drumbeat of negativity from the traditional press. And yet, amid this shower of negative news, careful observers will have noticed institutions are actually running into crypto investments. Today, I'm seeing banks, regulators, and the press drown the market in negative news. They're using the same old trick Hearst used to scare speculators so he could scoop up the Homestake mine for pennies. Guess what? It's working. Institutions are getting the best prices on cryptos since mid-2017, while the average investor is panic selling. Big investors are buying. Crypto wealth is being redistributed. Now listen closely. This is me doing an aside here. Listen closely to this last part. Over the last 90 days, we've seen some of the biggest investors in the world flood into cryptos. Wall Street investment bank Goldman Sachs announced that it would launch a crypto trading desk. Susquehanna, the 12th largest trading firm in the world by volume, announced it would start trading cryptos too. The firm even went as far as creating its own custody company to hold its cryptos. Billionaire investor George Soros, one of the world's greatest moneymakers, gave the green light to his team to buy cryptos. Coinbase, one of the world's largest crypto exchanges, launched a crypto index fund for wealthy investors and institutions. Financial services company State Street said it's considering acting as a custodian for Bitcoin. State Street has $2.7 trillion under management. Wellington Capital, with over $1 trillion of assets under management, stated its intention to start trading Bitcoin. The Rockefeller family's venture capital firm, Venrock, said it's also buying cryptos. Every important lawyer I talk to in the investment space is overwhelmed with crypto questions from their institutional clients. That's just the latest evidence that institutions are trying to get into this market, not stay out of it. Don't fall victim to this conspiracy. Friends, make no mistake, we're in the middle of a massive handover of wealth from individuals to institutions. I saw this happen after the housing crisis in between 2010 and 2012, when institutions started buying up foreclosures by the thousands, but individual investors couldn't get a mortgage. I saw it in 2003 after the dot-com crash, when institutions started buying up internet and technology stocks on the cheap, but on CNBC, they kept telling the public it was too early to buy. I saw it during 1994 to 1995, when institutions scoffed outwardly about how dumb money was buying internet stocks, while they were loading up as individuals were selling. I've seen this institutional blueprint for stealing wealth play out again and again. Don't be the victim of this strategy. The key is to focus on what institutions are doing, not what they're saying. Across the world, institutional investors are embracing cryptos, not rejecting them. Just as George Hearst made a fortune using misinformation to buy the Homestake mine on the cheap, institutions know they will make vast fortunes buying cryptos at depressed prices. Otherwise, they just wouldn't bother with it. Don't be a statistic. Stay strong. Keep your position sizes rational. We will ride the wave of misinformation through this dark valley of despair and into the bright sunlight of the life-changing future ahead of us. Let the game come to you. Now, I believe, that's the end of the article. I believe that is one of the best articles I have read since I got into crypto. And you need to listen to this video or go read the article and do it once and twice and 3 times and 4 times if you need to let it truly sink in that you are, as an XRP holder, as an investor, you're like those gold prospectors. You're already in the stream and you're already sifting through and finding the gold and the silver. Do not let these people convince you to sell. These are all scare tactics. This is your opportunity to change your life. It's my opportunity to change my life, and do not do what they're trying to get you to do. You sit there and you hold on to what you have, and if you don't have a good position yet, while these prices are down, do what the institutions are doing and buy it cheap. I am the digital asset investor. I am not an investment advisor. I want y'all to please subscribe to this and hit the like button and tell your friends about my channel, because I go out of my way to try to find you little gems that are hiding, that aren't seen by other people, so that I can relay to you the importance and how huge this once in a lifetime opportunity is that we're in right now. I've never seen it in my lifetime, and I'm putting my money where my mouth is. And so please listen to what I'm telling you. And I always end my videos by telling you about the Ledger hard wallet. And the reason is I spent 4 years being scared while I held my digital assets. It wasn't until I bought a hard wallet, the best one being the Ledger Nano S. And when I did buy it, that was when I started sleeping good holding my digital assets, because it's the only safe way where you can't be hacked and have your digital assets stolen. You store it offline, and it's a cold storage. So I have the link in the description of every one of my videos where you can go straight to Ledger and buy it from them, which is the safe way to do it. I also have a link where you can get your crypto merchandise. If you don't want to wear an XRP shirt right now in this market, I can promise you that you're going to be wearing one in the next few months, because this market is just a temporary thing. So go there. You can get 20% off in the description of my videos. Thank y'all for listening, and I will talk to you later.